Cool. Whenever you're ready.
All right. So you might have seen a video of me this week crying, like actual tears, crying actual tears on Instagram.
Leading us nicely into this Friday's hottest record. And it's a big moment. A man who's hustled and grafted his way from local bar club DJ to festival headliner and one of the biggest names in dance in the world right now. I'm delighted to make this hottest record. It really is huge. James Hype, Don't Wake Me Up.
Radio 1's hottest record.
Fuck yeah. Basically what happened was I was listening to myself on the radio, on BBC Radio 1, for the first time ever being given the title of the hottest record in the world. Now, the story of why this means so much to me is a bit of a crazy one. Yes, I'm a huge Radio 1 fanboy, and I have been for my whole life, but it's actually so much deeper than that. So, when I was a teenager, growing up in the UK, Radio 1 was like the coolest station in my eyes. I used to know all the presenters. I would listen anytime I was in the car. I would even listen like late at night to the specialist music shows and stuff. I used to listen to Annie Mac playing dance music, Pete Tong playing all the newest house music. Zane Lowe used to do the new music show every day, and he did the hottest record in the world every single day. They used to play the record twice, interview the artist and talk about it. And it was just the coolest thing. I always wanted to hear what the hottest record in the world was. I remember when 10 Snake Coma Cat was the hottest record in the world. It was so fucking cool. And as soon as I got my first car, I would put Radio 1 on and just listen wherever I was going. When I started DJing, I used to listen to Radio 1 on the way to my gigs, on the way home from my gigs. They had late night shows with all these really cool underground artists. And when I became an actual DJ, I started working in clubs when I was 18, and it was going all right. I was just like a local DJ, used to play the popular music, make a bit of money. And one day, my mum texted me, and she said, "James, I've just been listening to Radio 1, and they're doing a competition. And the competition is to find the next superstar DJ. And she said, you should enter it." And I was like, nah, sounds stupid. But I thought about it, and I decided to enter it. You had to make a video to enter. So I made my video, I entered, and somehow I managed to get into the final 10. And the people who got into the final 10, they were invited to London to go to actual Radio 1 to compete in the final of the competition. Now, this was wild for me because I'm a guy from Liverpool, probably been to London a couple of times in my life. Like, Liverpool and London are so different in terms of size, and everything big in media, in my eyes, happened in London. So I got the train to London. It was all paid for. I got there, I got to a hotel, and I wasn't used to this life at all. And I went to bed, and in the morning I had to go into Radio 1 for the first time. So I went into Radio 1, the station that I've been listening to for my whole life. And I met these presenters who I'd been listening to. I was so starstruck. And for the next 7 days, I was on the radio every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, competing for the title of Superstar DJ. Now, every single day, some people got knocked out. And through the competition, there were different challenges. You had to mix, you had to talk on the mic, you had to do some music production, like with the help of someone else, but sort of like you had like a ghost producer, and they put you in groups, and it was like, make a track, because I didn't even know how to make music at this point. I eventually made it to the final 3, and in one of the days, one of the judges was Calvin Harris. So they brought Calvin Harris into Radio 1, and he had to judge the competition, who was winning, who was losing that day. The day when I met Calvin Harris blew my fucking mind and literally changed my life forever. I'm not even the biggest Calvin Harris fan. I think he's amazing, but I'm not like Calvin Harris super fan. But what I saw that day is I saw Calvin Harris sat in a chair just like I am now. And I was like, oh shit, he's just a normal guy. Maybe if I work really hard, I can be like him. Now, as I say, I came third in this competition. I wasn't the winner. I didn't get a prize. But I think that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because through that process, I went to London, met the radio presenters, met Calvin Harris, and it's like my vision went from this to this, and all of a sudden I could see the world, and I could see, wow, if I can do that and get better and better, I can get to where Calvin Harris is. If I can do that and get better and better, I can get to where these Radio 1 presenters are. And the crazy thing was, that competition was won by a guy called Danny Howard. Now, Danny Howard won the competition, went on to do amazing things. He was DJing for Radio 1 in Ibiza. He was DJing on all their events. And then they gave him his own show. Now, Danny did his own show for years and years. And eventually, some of the older DJs, they moved on. Like Pete Tong moved on, Annie Mac moved on. Now, through this period, Danny Howard becomes the #1 dance DJ on Radio 1. And we didn't stay in touch. Like, even though I knew him a little bit because we'd been on the radio together, we didn't stay in touch. And I always wanted Danny Howard to play my music. And it felt like I was always releasing music and people liked it, but Danny Howard never ever played it. And I had a conversation with an old friend of mine, and he reminded me of this the other day. He texted me saying, I remember you saying one day Danny Howard will play my music. And it fucking happened. And not only did he play my music, but he gave me the title of hottest record in the world, which is the moment I used to tune into Radio 1 for every fucking night when I was a teenager. Now, I already knew that I had the hottest record in the world because I went into the Radio 1 studios to record my interview 2 weeks ago. But until I actually heard it, it didn't hit me. Like, I was sat in a hotel room in Santiago in Chile, and my mom always listens whenever I'm on the radio, right? And my mom knew that I was going to be on Radio 1, and I'd just been working on loads of stuff, and I texted my mom and I was like, oh, has the Radio 1 thing been on the air yet? And she said, no, it hasn't. And I wasn't even planning to listen because it didn't really feel like a big deal for me, because, like, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm on the radio all the time. And I wasn't really thinking about it very much. And when my mum said, no, it hasn't been on yet, I thought, okay, I'll put Radio 1 on now to listen. And within like 5 minutes, I heard the announcement come in, and I heard Danny Howard talking about me. And because he knows my story, he knows that I came from working in these small nightclubs for £100, and he knows the years and years that I've gone to get to this point. And he was telling the world my story and playing the world my record as the hottest record in the world. And it just overwhelmed me, and I literally just started crying. And I was like, shit, let me get my phone and record this, because like I didn't see this coming at all, but I have to share this because this is like the result, the like overwhelming feeling of what you've been working for fucking 10 years coming together and paying off. Whew. So that's why I cried on Instagram. And for the people saying it's fake, fuck you. Best t-shirts in the world, www.stereohype.global. Don't Wake Me Up is out now. Thank you for watching.